Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for clicking in to Candid Stories of My Soul with myself, Racquel. We're going to have a wonderful show today. We have another special guest, a returning special guest, Miss Crystal LeFay. She is awesome. One big ball of awesomeness. Just to give you an introduction, she is an internationally known psychic medium, spiritual alchemist, empath, oracle reader, Reiki master and healer, meditation instructor, holistic intuitive, spiritual life coach, herbalist, Wiccan high priestess, witch, crystal gemstone healer, author, inspirational speaker, magic and metaphysical crafter, ordained minister, metaphysical teacher, self-love advocate, TBI survivor, educator, and advocate, sexual abuse and survivor and advocate, domestic abuse survivor and advocate, and pansexual woman. She's a mother and a wife. She's phenomenal. Thank you for coming on, Crystal. How have you been since the last time I've spoken with you?
Busy.
Busy. All right. Well, we're going to stay with us because we will be right back. We're going to get knee deep into it with Miss Crystal LeFay. Much love and peace to all watching and or listening to Candid Stories of My Soul podcast with myself as the host, Racquel Shelby. From the moment we take our first breath and every experience that follows builds us up and creates the individuals we are today. In life, we will experience both the good and the bad because in order for balance to exist, both must coexist. There cannot be good without bad, nor can there be chaos without peace. We are souls experiencing humanity. The Creator is the author of it all. Whether we believe in a God source or not, He is within us all and is present at all times, embedded in us like our DNA. You will get to audibly witness many journeys of individuals as they are living, breathing, and ever-growing documentaries in the flesh. Many will attest to how the Creator was there, and many of these accounts will be mind-blowing. Please share with your family and friends and enjoy the message we have for you today. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you for your patience, and we're getting into it. So it's been, I don't know, maybe a month, maybe since we had our last interview. And it's amazing. Every day I feel like I'm more encouraged. I really do. I really do. So how have you been doing? What's new with you before we get into the thick of it?
I've been doing great, just moving and grooving, moving forward in every way I can, every single day. We just acquired a fifth wheel trailer that I turned into my sacred space type place to have people come and get some healing done and do sessions there. So it's really nice to be able to have that space now. So yeah, it's been good.
That is awesome. I did see your trailer. I'm like, hey, I was happy for you. That's funny. You popped up in my mind actually about that trailer earlier because it's a lady that I watch on YouTube. And I don't know if I'm sure you know. A lot of people have been talking about the shift that we're going through. The planet is going through, that the people are going through. And this particular individual that I watch, she actually has a trailer or RV. And she's kind of keeping it moving. And I'm wondering if that is this some kind of instinct or intuitive move that people are getting? Like, I know I feel like I want to go in the hills, the jungle, or the mountains or something, like I want to go more in nature. Like, do you think this is just something that people are going through and not really realizing why they're feeling the need to do these things? You think this is like a spiritual nudge, or you think this is just a coincidence?
No, I absolutely. I see it across the board with a lot of the spiritual community that I'm connecting with, and we are all wanting to have some sacred space away from the real world, away from the chaos, away from all the energies. And when you're a sensitive person, when you're empathic or psychic or anything like that, we tend to take on a lot of energy all the time in just our daily lives. And so to be able to have that space to step into that's geared to just that spiritual aspect of things, just that it has a certain vibration to it. So when you have that, you can go into that space, and not only are you doing it for your clients, but also for yourself, to just be able to get in the zone and focus on the true aspects of who we really are as our spiritual beings.
Yes, definitely. I know that lately I've just I don't have an RV or a trailer. So I do what I can. I walked outside and just put my feet in the ground for a little bit, in the grass, and just stood there for a little bit. And of course I do my daily meditation. I know yesterday, I don't know, I thought I was going wonky, and more so I think you could be going through something, but it's not really a big deal till people start asking you questions like my husband comes home, he's like, "What's going on? What's wrong? Well, you want to talk about something? What's wrong? What's wrong?" Nothing's wrong, but I had this feeling of indifference yesterday. I think I was just there. Um Also, I was like feeling emotional at bits, but for no apparent reason. Nothing's going on. Like I promise. But it's some wonky things going on. I mean, did you feel like that yesterday, or was it just me?
No, yeah, absolutely. I think that when there's a shift in the world, we all feel it. And when you're sensitive or empathic, we tend to pick up on other people's emotions. So sometimes it's not even our own that we're dealing with other people. So it could be our children, it could be our husband, it could be the world, it could be, any type of event that happens. I know that I do that quite often. So yeah, it's definitely, I think a lot of us are feeling it on a regular basis.
Okay. Okay. So what are your thoughts? We got into some life topics last time a little bit. What are your thoughts about the shift? Like, what do you think is coming, or what do you feel, or what have you seen that's coming up the pipe that we need to be aware of or not worry about? Or what would you say to that?
Well, I tend to try to focus on most of the positive things, aspect of things, not in denial of the negative and things that can be happening, because there's definitely things happening. And I'm a big believer in what I see happening is a new generation being born in this day and age of children. These very heightened, aware children, and parents not knowing what to do with their children, because the children, especially right now, coming into this world, have a high purpose here, and they're going to be part of the change in this world. And I just really feel that psychically, I feel a lot, and empathically, I feel a lot of destruction happening around us in the world, but I feel that it has to happen in order for the new to be built. And the children that are coming into the world uh, are going to be those ones that build that back up. So I think a lot of it, what we really need to be doing is focusing on our kids. We need to be really, as parents, as people in general, focusing on our children, because they are the ones that are going to be not only taking care of us, but taking care of our world. And so we really need to start looking at what we can do for our children to help empower them, to help them grow into their own uniquenesses and their own energies and their own abilities, that it's going to be able to help the world. I think that's extremely, extremely important right now.
Okay. I agree. Because without even getting deep into it, on the very basic level, we can all agree that the children are our future. At some point, you know, we're aging, and it is my suggestion that you don't focus on the fact that you're aging, because then, you know, next thing you know, you're going to be aging like a German shepherd. But still know that you're aging, and at some point there's going to be a shift taking where another generation is coming up and is going to take over. So if you want that to be positive, which I'm sure most people want their children and their grandchildren and their grandchildren's children to live in a more peaceful world, we have to pour into our children those things that will be conducive to such an environment. So
Exactly.
yeah. We really have to we have to do better with that. And it's crazy because we're coming in an age, and our parents, like for my parents, you know, they were coming up in a very religious time. They were coming up in a time where their parents was dealing with segregation and racism and a lot of stuff that, you know, they've seen and went through. So they had their own kind of trauma. And then here we come through them, you know, we're coming through them. And now we're kind of shaking it up a bit and trying to break up that, hey, I mean, you know, I don't feel that way. My friend is white, or my friend is black, my friend is Indian, my friend is Arab, my friend is, I don't feel that way. I don't see things that way. You know, let's be loving. And we're trying to come in and kind of shake that up a bit and be more about the love, but then we're still battling with the garbage that was handed to us from our people, you know. And so I think it's very important that we recognize and address those things. And oftentimes we complain a lot. We complain about what's going on in the world. But to be honest, if you're not trying to fight that battle within your home, because that's where it starts, right? You got to be in the front lines in your home. And as I say this, even me, I'm thinking about things that I really need to adjust, because we get so busy into who we are and trying to juggle everything. And it's designed that way. You know, I mean, it's kind of, don't beat yourself up, because that's what it's for everybody to be distracted and keep messing up, so the few can keep living fat and high on the hog, you know. But the time for that is over. And if we want to ensure it and make it go smoothly as possible, we need to be in this boy working in our households, you know. And I try, I really do. I try to bring myself and hold myself to task with that, you know. And I know I fall short, but I try. Um, so let's get into some more of these gifts and things that you have to offer. So many things you have to offer. So when people hear the word witch, they immediately think of some Disney character or someone in the woods that's going to put a hex on you and ruin your life, right? And that's because we think of stereotypes, and they have been planted in our head through imagery and conditioning and programming. So it makes sense, and we need that form of reference. So stereotypes really, in a way, as much as they can be negative, they help you kind of put things in their categories fast and sort things out and make sense of things. But sometimes you still need to do a little tune up in some of those categories and clear those misconceptions up. So I know who better to do that than you. So can you please expound on that?
Well, I've been a witch. I really feel that I was born one. I've just always been gravitated towards that. You know, and then as I got older, as a teenager, I didn't have much guidance with it. I just always gravitated towards that realm. I don't know why, I just always did. And then as I got older, I discovered Wiccan, and I discovered the different aspects of things, and just really realized that being a witch to me is just being a healer. I know how to work with certain energies. I know how to work with certain, I know that herbs have certain energies. I know how to do that. And I've always made it a conscious effort within my own life to, because there's a big law of three when you are a witch. It's what you put out, you get back 3 times. So, and I made a conscious effort to, in my whole entire life, to make sure that I'm always putting out good, that I never put out negative, no matter what I do. And so, you know, I've had people in the past come to me and asking for like love spells and things like that. And I never work against anybody's free will. I never go against anything like that. So I always deny those type of things. You know, it's basically like a day in the life of a witch is, I mean, really kind of boring. It's really not that, you know, that mysterious. It's, you know, we just have our traditions, and, you know, there is different aspects of it. I actually teach a class on Wicca and witchcraft, and it's a 4-week class where you learn everything from the get, just everything. You learn everything about it. And a lot of times I tell people, you don't have to be interested in it to learn it. But if you have a family member in it, or if you know, have someone that is interested in it, and it is something that people tend to be afraid of, to learn about it. That way you have the information, and that way you understand it. Like, I made my husband take my course because he's not a witch. He's not a Wiccan. So it was important for him to understand where I was coming from, and that he could have a knowledge about it. So it's like, I always tell people, if you're gonna, you know, the best thing to do is sit in a circle, a ritual circle with a witch, or watch on the outside of it, and you'll see it's just a very beautiful, magical, earth-loving thing. And that's not to say that there's not negative people out there that take it and make it something evil or negative, because that can happen in every religion or every spiritual path. So it's, you know, and I don't believe, me personally, I mean, I'm 45 years old. I've been practicing since I was 7 years old. It's like, I don't believe that there is black magic or white magic. I believe that there's magic, and then it's the person it's coming from that determines what energy is going to come from that. And so I've always just been a good person and just put out good stuff and help people in a good way. And so, you know, it's just basically me in my kitchen, mixing herbs for money spells and money, you know, rituals and things like that. We celebrate the seasons of the earth. You know, we don't celebrate Christmas in our household, but we celebrate Yule, which is right before Christmas. We don't celebrate Easter, but we celebrate Ostara, which is, you know, around that time. So each holiday has its significance. It's all about Mother Earth and the sun, S-U-N, God. You know, it's about honoring the cycles of the earth and really owning your own power. And it's a really empowering path. And I found that there's been times that I've been in relationships before with Christian men, and they tried to take that away from me because they were afraid of it. You know, I actually, and a lot of people don't know this about me, even though I am a witch, that is my path. But I have read the Bible. I believe in Jesus. I believe in God. I believe in these things, and I incorporate them in my magic. And so I believe that it can be a beautiful connection between all of it. And I just believe in light and love. And so I'm a little bit odd of a witch. So it's like I incorporate so much into my work. I'm considered an eclectic witch. So I can take from different spiritual paths and put it into one. And so I believe that as long as it comes from light and love, that it's okay.
Definitely. I think it's just important, and I thank you so much for clarifying, because you know, you got people out here thinking every witch is just in the back with a big ass pot boiling some bullshit to throw and just fuck some shit up. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, and they in the crystal ball talking shit, and you know, one day you might wake up with your foot shriveled up or something. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, the thing is it's fucked up people everywhere in everything, okay? And somebody, the holiest of the holies, baby, they're dangerous. So let's just be honest. it's about intentions. It's about where your heart is and where your focus is. I mean, and people really need to know that. So I thank you so much for clearing that up. Another question. I don't know if you ever watched that show, The Magicians, on Netflix.
I don't think I have. Yeah, I've heard of it.
Okay, it's good. It's good. So they're doing a lot of stuff with their hands and spells and all of that stuff, and it's really neat. Like, but I love stuff like that. Is that a real thing? Like, can a group of people get together and do their little? I mean, I believe. This is what I do believe. I will say this. I believe anything that you conceive is real because it is a vibration to that. There's no way you can conceive something that doesn't exist. You don't just poof, create these things. So I believe that's a reality. That's my thoughts behind it. But what I am asking is like, have you ever seen that? Is that a thing?
Yeah, absolutely. We cast circles and we do ritual work and we do spells and we move energy. And the more people you have involved in the same goal, energetic goal, it's going to heighten that energy and raise that vibration. So the more people you can have in a circle working towards the same goal, it's going to make changes. I mean, there's so much that I've done in my own life because I write my own spells and I do my own thing. And, just amazing things that have happened in my life that people just wouldn't like believe. And it's just, but I've seen it with my own, I've felt it, I've done it, I've been able to slow down time and move up time, fast forward time. I've been able to manifest things using magic in such good ways. And it's always, there's a clause that you should say every time, and it's as long as it doesn't harm anybody, so mote it be. That means that whatever magic intention I put out there, I say that at the end of it. That way, if it is by chance and me not knowing, because I am a human being, that it may harm someone, it will stop. It's going to stop that. The Mother Earth or Goddess or the universe, the energy will just stop. It's not gonna work if it's going to harm anybody. So I'm just very cautious of what I put out there. And but yeah, I have a group of beautiful ladies that we get together and we make some things happen.
Okay. So can things, and I'm not trying to be funny, but it's just information. This is what Candid Stories of My Soul is all about. It's so many things that can come out of this show, but it's not. I'm not capping it. And the basis of it is for people to get information. So these are the reasons I ask these questions, is not to be, and I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to the audience too. So they'll know it's not to be antagonistic or, I'm not being shady over here, honey. I don't have a bunch of palm trees over my head. There is no shade anywhere. Okay. I'm literally just asking questions. So, does the magic work like a magic show? Like, okay, let me materialize this apple. Boom.
I wish it did. I really did. I wish it was like that. I wish it, no, it's, we joke because witches fly brooms and, that's, we joke about, actually in circle time, we joke about stuff like that. It's like, we really wish it was that easy.
Yeah.
No, it's a gradual process, because, in reality, you don't want things to happen that way because
No, you don't.
half the things that we think we want, we don't really want. And if it happens too quickly, if it materializes too quickly, it just wouldn't be a good thing. So yeah, no, it's like, I get a lot of questions too about like the witch's hat, the black hat. Why do you wear all black? Why do you wear a witch's hat? Why do you, do that type of stuff? And we do, absolutely. Out in my yard, in a circle, witch's hat, and all that. It's a ceremonial like robe. It's ceremonial, and the witch's hat is actually a cone of power. So, the cone, like the pyramid, it's a power. So it connects us to that energy. It helps it come into us. So, when you're wearing that witch's hat, you're actually, you're using that cone as power to connect. So it's that point at the top of it. It's going to connect to that energy and make it more, it's easier to draw from.
Okay, thank you. So, you know what? I'm tell, didn't I say she's amazing? Okay, she gives answers without me even having to ask them. That's some type of amazing. I'm glad you broke that. Like, that's amazing. That it's like duh, but it's like you don't think about that. So that is amazing. But back to the time thing. Thank you for touching on that. That was another amazing point, because you got people out here. I mean, think about it. You may have been mad. Okay, we about to get real. So you might have been in a relationship, right? Come on, my ladies, y'all know. And this fool, this fool done did some shit that made you mad. They made you mad. It was disrespectful. It was how this much, you know, you going through all of that. And you might have said, if I had I would do this and that. You know what I'm saying? You might have said these things or thought these things. Now imagine if you were able to materialize that instantly. Because 30 minutes, give yourself 30 minutes to an hour, you don't even feel like that, you know, because you're like, man, that's so dramatic. That is bold what they did. And I still kind of think they deserve it, but no, they really don't. You know what I'm saying? So it's like time, it's like a built-in fail safe, you know, in a way. It's like a built-in fail safe, because people will be on the bullshit out here. They will. You give it to them and they will listen. If it wasn't a fail safe, we wouldn't even see each other tomorrow. Somebody would be mad and the whole earth would explode. And they can't have that. The universe cannot have that. They cannot have that, because there's so many levels of consciousness, and being in this body, it already kind of gives you a cap. You know, it kind of caps you in a way. So we are dealing with God energy in a limited vessel. And if it's not protected and fail safe, we gonna fuck some shit up, because we, you know, the ignorance with the power combined it's a bad combination. It's a bad combination. Just like words. I mean, even to cast a spell, from my understanding, you could tell me if I'm wrong, you have to use your words. Your words are literally powerful. So you have to be careful of the things that fly out of your freaking mouth. You know, you just really do. And these are things we don't think about. So, thank you so much for touching on that. I'm sorry. I know I'll be going on these tangents. I want to address, I think this is important too. I want to go back to something you said about dating Christian men and them wanting to change what you were doing or who you are, or, you know, both. What I don't understand why people, it's okay that you're attracted to me. It's a lot of things that we're attracted to or that we want that really doesn't align with our lives and who we are. You know what I'm saying? You can like something and want it, but it doesn't mean that it's for you. And I want to know why we take people because we like them and we have this ideal of who we would want them to be so that they can fit in our world, because we're so fucking selfish. Why do we do this and then try to change people? Well, why not just get with someone that is for you, that aligns with you? I mean, I'm not gonna hit nobody upside the head with the Bible, but it has a lot of good principles and quotes. One of those things was she was saying about the group. Well, you know, he says when what is it, 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I'm in the midst. That's a good way of saying what you were saying, combining those people together on the same accord and attention. Boom, you know, there's power in that. Another thing, back to what we were just talking about, is you shouldn't be unevenly yoked. People are not yoked evenly with these people that they want, and then they wonder why they have so much hell. How do you feel about that?
I've experienced that, like almost every relationship until I met my husband. And, and I've also been on the other end too. And where I wanted to change someone and thinking that I wanted them to fit what my idea of a person should be. And from my perspective, from that aspect of it, what I learned is, it was a lot of missing parts of me that I had to fulfill. And I was uncomfortable with my own self. And so I was trying to have someone fit into something that I didn't even be aware of. And I had a lot of codependency issues, and I had a lot of things that I had to work through. And once I did that, I realized that when you're in a relationship with someone, you should be free. That person should feel free, and you should feel free. And there should be no, you need to do this, you need to be this way, or anything like that. And it's funny because when I met my husband, I asked him the first date, I said, "Are you a Christian?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Well, then I can work with that," because I had already determined that I'm just not going to be with somebody, and it's not that I'm not saying that all Christian men are bad. I'm not saying that at all. I've had some really good relationships with Christian men that were perfectly fine, but the ones that I did deal with that were toxic towards me were in the Christian faith. And so, my husband gives me a freedom just to be who I am, no matter what. And I think a lot of it comes to responsibility within ourselves too, and I can only speak as a woman's aspect of things, but as a woman, when I look back at my relationships with men, and I, in a sense, let them do that to me. I let them take that from me because I wasn't honoring myself. I wasn't taking control of my own life. And so it was easy for them to just take it from me because I just okay, I'm going to mold whatever you want. Well, once I did some healing and I actually started taking responsibility for myself and what works for me, when I met my husband, I said, "Look, this is who I am. I'm a witch. I read cards. I do this, I do this, I do this. And if this is not what you want, then you don't need to be with me. So let's not waste any time. I'm not doing this anymore." And luckily he looked at me and said, "I think I want to marry you." And I'm like, "Okay." and and 7 years later, we joke all the time. I say, I don't feel like I'm married. I never feel like I'm married with him because he does not control anything in my life. He does not, I don't have to answer to him for nothing. We have a respect. We talk a lot. And he does it. He participates in my rituals if I ask him to, if I need that extra energy, and he'll take my classes if I ask him to. But in general, I respect him in his path. He believes more in aliens and things like that. That's his perspective. And so I respect that, and sometimes I'm like, "Well, you need to believe in something." And he's like, "I believe in aliens." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, that's your perspective. And I can respect that because also I believe anything's possible. So, I mean, who knows?" And so, yeah, I respect that for him. But I think a lot of it comes in when it comes to relationships, and at least from a woman's aspect of it, and being in abusive and negative and toxic relationships where I did lose myself. I think looking back now, I had to take ownership of myself. I had to honor myself more. I had to say, "You know what? No, this is who I am. And if you don't like me, then you need to go," instead of trying to hold on to them. Instead of thinking that I needed that person. And in actuality, I don't even need my husband. I love him. I honor him. I enjoy him, but I don't need him. And when I came to that conclusion, it changed everything. It made everything different.
As you were talking, a couple of things. I hear the song by Usher, "Just Don't Waste My Time," by Usher and Ella May. That's interesting. That popped in. Another thing is sometimes you must lose yourself to find yourself. You can't find anything without it being lost first. So that's a thing there. And we have been conditioned with programming to think, what do people say? Is that your ball and chain? You're losing your freedom. All these things associated with marriage, and we literally manifest that shit. And I am one to believe. I believe you should love freely. And there's a lot of people that's not going to agree with me, and they don't have to. Let me tell you, I'm giving you the green light right now. You don't have to agree with shit I say. This is how I feel. I feel that you should love freely. You should not, you don't own anybody. All the possessiveness and all of that stuff, that's toxicity. If a person wants to be with you, they will be with you. And if they don't, they don't. And to be honest, you should never want anything that doesn't want to be with you freely. That you don't want, do you want to hold people hostage? Because essentially that's what you're doing. Just to be with someone, I want to hold you hostage. That's crazy. How do people held hostage feel? They don't feel good. They don't want to be there. I could tell you that. So, you know, these are things that we really need to consider and think about. This conversation today is powerful, but I already said it was going to be before it started. You know, it really, it's the little things. It doesn't have to be over the top for a message to be powerful. You'd be surprised how just little bits of information come through and really encourage someone. You know, so I've always said, you know, what's the verse again in the Bible? These things pop up. I don't sit in and read it. And dog, what was I about to say? I didn't lost my train of thought. It'll come back. It'll come back. But yeah, I mean, this is it's important. These conversations are really important. Oh, who the son says free is free indeed. He set me free. So if the person that has created me and created all of these things that we see set me free, who the hell is somebody else to tell me otherwise? Don't put me in no cups. So that's just something really to think about. That's something to think about. I'm gonna leave that there with that. I was just really getting into it, but yeah, man, that's some stuff. That's some stuff. And oh, before I move forward, I do want to say this. We use the word Christian, and they are Christian oftentimes, but really it's the intentions and the the theology behind it, the limited and controlling thinking. Whoever comes in that form, you could be an atheist, okay? But if you are trying to always limit and control someone because of for your narrative's sake, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And that leads me to my next topic. What is truth to you? We about to get deep in this one. What is truth to you?
To me, oh, truth. That's a good question. That's a really good question.
There is no wrong answer.
Right. You know, I think for me, I'm a stickler when it comes to being honest and being truthful. You know, throughout my life, I've dealt with people who've lied to me. And so, like in relationships, whether it's friendship or business or anything, I'm very like, I expect honesty because I give honesty. Um, you know, I believe truth to me is you have to be true to yourself first and own your own truth, and then you can be truthful to other people.
Hmm.
Um, if you're not, if you're not owning your own truth and owning your own crap, I mean, honestly, anything, and if we're not owning that, then we can't put that out to other people, you know. And so I think truth starts with ourselves first and then works out. Because if we can be honest with ourselves, then we can be honest with anybody. And I'm a very open book type of person. I'll talk about anything in my life. I don't hold back. I am who I am. You know, I'm going to answer you honestly, no matter what the question is. That's just how I am. Because I have nothing to be ashamed of. I'm not ashamed of my truth. I used to be in the past, but I've gotten over that because I use my truth to help other people discover their own truth. So yeah, I think truth comes from us personally first, and then works out.
Yes, and I'm glad you tackled that area. And I also want to thank you because I just realized you have given me something else to add to this show, and that's I'm going to start keeping a notepad so that when things pop up in my head as we're talking, I won't lose my space because you want to get I want to get into all the goods. So something you said my truth. We're gonna I'm a that's a highlight, and I'm gonna get to that. You explained a really good side of that. And I think you did wonderful with that. You tackled that. So I'm going to take it this way. You left it open. You opened the door for me. We are in sync here. So my truth. Okay. So the stop sign at the end of the street, is it red? Is it really red? How are we to know? Is it red because it's red? Is it red because we were taught it was red? Do you stop at that stop sign because if you don't, your car is going to explode? Or do you stop because someone told you to stop? And who gave it these meanings, right? It was people. We gave it these meanings based on interpretations and analyzations and whatever miracle of science and math or whatever the fuck. That's how we labeled that, right? So I say that as a reference point to get back to my truth. It's people that are upset when you say my truth because they're upset because it challenges their narrative of the truth. Because there's people that think that there's one universal truth. I suppose so. I suppose if we're going that there's a creator, well, that's true because I'm looking at you. I can prove that, right? So that's true.
Yeah.
I guess we could say there is light and darkness in the way that something's brighter and something isn't. We can say that. I mean, we gave it the words, but we can say that. Okay. But my hair is brown. Your hair is blonde. That's a difference, right? So my truth is my hair is brown and your hair is blonde. Okay. We're different. We're different races and ethnicities. We live in different cities. So if that's just us, and there's a whole bunch of other beings, there's red hair and different, it's all type of stuff going on, different scenarios. So wouldn't that suggest there are different truths? Okay, let's take it back. There's a car accident that happens. 3 people are standing there and they witnessed this car accident. Everybody gives their account, but their stories are different. Well, is anyone lying? What is the truth? Now we have 3 different their truths. They all can say this is my truth. So is there a universal truth there? There are people that have been sexually assaulted, that it has torn their lives apart. There are other people that have been assaulted, and trauma, I think trauma is one of those things that you transcend or convert. It's like energy. It doesn't necessarily, it's not destroyed, but you can place it in a way that you're functional. You can transmute it into learning and applying it to helping and all of that stuff, but it's trauma nonetheless. So now you have this other person that's been traumatized by being sexually violated, but their life is not destroyed. They have transmuted it. But does that mean so what is true? Is this person incapable and crazy because it destroyed their life and they're less than? And this person is better, or is it just what it is? It's their truth and that other person's truth. So I say all that, and I hope you understand where I'm going and I'm not losing you. I say all that to say, I think we should really caution ourselves when it comes to judging people and how they live, how they believe, and what they tell you their story is. Because everything is translated and interpreted by your knowledge and experience. You can't speak on what you're ignorant of. And I can't tell you you're wrong and that's your life, and vice versa. I think that we need to be tolerant and just from those examples understand that, because we want to be so rigid. And what's the point? Who the hell is keeping score? You just want to be right? Why? Who cares? I think it's less stressful just to be. And as I say this, understand that I say this knowing I have work to do too, because it's come on now, it's some stuff people say or do. You be like, what the fuck? What is this shit about? You know what I'm saying? You didn't thought it before. So you are guilty. You know, I mean, if somebody comes out of Kroger, okay, I won't say midget because that might be offensive. If a little person, I don't know y'all know what I'm trying not to be offensive here, but I'm saying if a person that is of shorter stature than shorter than average stature, comes out of Kroger in a clown suit, squeezing his nose, making a honk noise, I might say, what the fuck is this about? I might say that. You know what I'm saying? So we do it. But I just wanted to put all that in perspective to understand it is such thing as my truth. You brought it up, you said it, and you're right. And it's true. And universal truth is a very narrow category. We are here and we are different because that's how we're God's receptors. We're extensions of him. This is how he's able to be all knowing, because we're different, playing out different scenarios, doing different things, and every bit of that is information. And he's able to record that because he's in every one of us. So be careful with my truth. I'm sorry, Crystal. I hope you don't feel like I am talking too much.
No, you brought up, I mean, I agree. I absolutely agree. And, you know, I think it's important to acknowledge that when you say that we all judge, it just happens. We're human beings. But when you're conscious of that judgment and you're able to go, you know what, oh, I judge. Now I need to turn that around and look at that. That's huge. That's huge. And, you know, and I do believe that everybody comes from their own perspective. So everybody does have their own truth and they all see things differently. And I really, it's taken me a while, but I really, especially when I work with clients, because I work with so many types of clients. And I really, at least in my sessions, come from a place of non-judgment whatsoever. I try to do the best I can, living my life in non-judgment of anything, like just having no judgment, like you said, just being, because it makes it so much easier on me, because I am such an empathic feeling person. I have found in the past getting caught up in going, what is going on here? When in reality, it has nothing to do with me, that their truth is their truth. It has nothing to do with me. It's not hurting me. You know, so I think that as long as we're conscious of it, that's huge. If we can each become conscious of it, of any judgment that we have, or conscious of the fact that everybody has their own truth, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, and it's like, okay, for me personally, I'm not a Christian. I don't go to church. I don't do these things because it doesn't work for me. That's my truth. Now, I've had lots of clients sit in front of me that were Christians that need to go to church and have lost their way. And in my readings, I've told them, go to church because you need to, because it's your path. This is your truth. This is where you need to be. It has nothing to do with me. And, you know, I had one person in my whole career asked me one time, because I don't talk about my religious beliefs or anything with clients and stuff like that. It's not their business. It's not my business. You know, it's not a discussion that I need to have with anybody unless it's a personal thing. And so I had one client ask me what my religious aspect was or what my belief system was. And I said to her, my belief system has nothing to do with yours. And my belief system has nothing to do with my information coming to you, because my information is comes from source, and it's a non-judgment. It has nothing to do with, I am here to serve you in this moment, to help you discover your own truth, help you figure out your own path. It has nothing to do with mine. And so that's just how I try to live my life as much as possible. Absolutely. And I loved what you said about trauma. You know, I was a victim. I did, I was molested and raped. I did go through all that. And for me, I use it as empowerment. I take from it to empower myself to move forward, to do certain things, and to help other people. So when someone comes to me and they're in that trauma and they're feeling all those feelings, I never once say to them, you shouldn't feel that way, or why do you feel that way? That's silly. I would never do that. That is discounting. That's taking away their own truth, what they know. And I would never do that to someone. They need to honor their truth in order to heal. It's the only way it works. And for me, as the person helping, I have to honor their truth in the space that they are in that moment, to help them get to where they want to be. So it's the only way it works.
Yep. And that's really what it is, folks. That's really what it is. I have so much more I want to get into. But here's the thing. This is the great part. So I got some good news, y'all. If you listen to me, I'm always going to be transparent with you. And it might sound a little ghetto sometimes, but I'm going to keep it funky, okay? And the thing is, this camera that I'm using is older, but I make it work and it looks good for now. It loses its battery, and I have something to keep it running continuously, but the casing doesn't allow it to be plugged in. And so I'm getting a new camera very soon here for this, that I won't have to stop. But it makes it good because we still get about an hour in, and she can always come back, because Crystal and I get into it, okay? We really do. We have amazing conversation, okay? So you're going to see her again, believe that, okay? Me and Crystal, we got this thing going on. We got it on lock, okay? Crystal, we got more to talk about. I thank you so much for bringing up such profound topics within the topics, okay? Leading me to where I wanted to go, where I didn't even know I wanted to go. I thank you for that. I thank you just being here. You're amazing. I love what you're doing. Keep it up. You are walking in your purpose. And this is great. This is great. Go ahead and shout out all of your stuff so people can find you before we get out of here.
Well, thank you for having me. I absolutely love it. And I would definitely come back anytime you want. This is, I always love talking to you. I look forward to it every time. So you can find me on Facebook, Crystal LeFay. I have a like page on there, and also my main page. You can find me at my website, www.crystallefay.com. I'm on TikTok as well, Crystal LeFay. I am on YouTube as well, Crystal LeFay. So yeah, those are the main places. I spend more time on Facebook than anything. So if you want to get a hold of me, that's probably the best place to message me, is through Facebook, through there. And but yeah, I'm here.
Awesome. And of course, I'm going to put your website and stuff in the description, so you guys can definitely find her information in the description. I need you to please like, comment, give us questions, because your questions also offer topics that we can get into. So, give us feedback. What do you like? What do you want us to expound on? What do you want us to touch on? Maybe it's something that you really want to hear about that we have not addressed. Please put that in the comments. Share this with anybody that you feel would appreciate it. Now, don't just be giving it to people ain't gonna watch it, ain't checking for it. Now, we got to do that. We got to have wisdom when sharing things. Everybody ain't checking for this, okay? If you had your super one track minded individual that's closed minded, this ain't for them. All right. But share it to
Mhm.
those it can bless, because that's what it's about. This is not about hammering information in people's head. It's about giving it to those who are seeking it. So I thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you subscribe, follow Crystal, and we are out of here.